Oh, welcome back, blade lovers. This old sword with you again. And today we've shifted gears somewhat back to a fixed blade knife. And this blade was featured in a few other videos alongside some other fixed blade knives. I think some of the discussion was around point down designs, as well as fixed blades you could carry easily in your front pocket. But this is such a special little knife, the Tops Poker, that I feel it deserves some of its own time and center stage for just a little bit. So we're bringing it back for this review for those that might be interested. What we have here is a fixed blade knife with an overall length of 6.88 inches, a blade length of 2.5 inches, cutting edge of 2.25 inches, a thickness of 0.13 inches. It's 1095 tool steel, Rockwell 56 to 58. It has an acid rain finish, which is a gray looking finish. And this one is a tan canvas micarta. Comes with a black Kydex sheath. And all of Top's Kydex sheaths are very good ones, by the way. And the designer is Craig Powell. There's a little bit of backstory here. I'll try to give you real quick. The Top's general manager, Craig Powell, has been with the company for a while now, and he's become more and more interested in everything to do with knives. He dabbled in making a few knives with a ton of help from Leo, Top's president. One weekend while he was working on a leather sheath project that he wanted to do, he came up with the idea to make a Kiridashi style knife close to the traditional Japanese style with a sort of chisel ground blade that he could use specifically for cutting leather and other projects and things around the house. Eventually, he got it done. Around the same time, Craig had also attended a couple of martial blade concept classes with a local instructor. So, of course, he realized that he could make a solid self-defense tool if needed. At this point, the design was tweaked to include the finger ring. So, without going further into the description from the Top's website, we bring you the little Kiridashi here. The Kiridashi with a ring, designed by Craig Powell from Top's Knives. So you've got all the specs. Let's take a look at the knife itself and size it up, maybe against a few other things. So you can see it's got a nice canvas micarta. It has that gray acid rain finish. 1095 steel, which is good hardenable tool steel, yet easy to sharpen. Heavily branded here with made in the USA. So of course, if you're looking for USA made knives, all of Top's knives are made in the US. There's the stock, quite thick at 0.13, I believe I said. Not overly thick as Top's likes to do with a number of its fixed blade knives. And again, it is a lighter weight knife, hardly anything to it. As far as holding it, if you put your pinky through the ring, you've got a good point up position. The blade is interesting in that it teardrops down, almost like a duck's bill. That gives it sort of a Warncliffe appearance. Comes through with a smooth, not too aggressive, shaving sharp edge. But believe me, just feeling it, it would do what it needs to do in terms of cutting. Got an interesting little sharpening choil there, termination of the edge. Got plenty of built-in guard by virtue of the way it's designed. And then of course, for you Karambit guys, back out a little more, you can hold it with an edge out, point down, And I like the fact that they work the ring forward enough so that you can get a good 90-degree in there between the line of the forearm and the angle of the blade. So if you're doing any of this kind of a motion, you want that lined that way. The problem that happens sometimes with knives that they simply add a ring onto is they put it straight up along the axis, and then what you've got is when you hold it this way, your blade's always angled back. So this motion is going to basically just present either the back edge or the front edge, depending upon how the edge is oriented. This way makes it a little more effective for martial blade use, and that was some of the intention from Craig Powell, the designer. So the finger grooves work well. They pretty much align. You don't have any problem there. If you wanted to hold it without using the ring, you can do that too. It's a little cramped. And, you know, you can work a number of different holds for it. You've definitely got the blade set way down from the grip so that for cutting, you've got good use of the edge, good use of the tip. A little blunt here, but in trying it out, let's see if I can do a small demonstration here. So it will penetrate. That's a mil-spec dense foam. Not the toughest thing in the world to get through, but see, it tends to, on a thrust forward, see it go down? So what's happening is that this dull portion of the blade is pushing it into the cutting edge. See that? I'm not trying to make it go down. That's just following the contour of the blade. So that's very interesting. Whether that was intended or not, I don't know. But you can see that sink down towards the edge. So the design of the back of the blade, spine of the blade, tends to, on a forward motion, push it into the edge of the blade, therefore increasing the cutting. Now, for those of you, again, who are into the martial blade stuff, this whole area back here is extremely good for trapping and grabbing. We sometimes like to have the edge back towards us for that purpose, but this is a very difficult knife to hold in that position. It's just overly awkward. The only way you're going to want to hold this is fingers in the grooves point down, or fingers in the grooves point up. And you've got a very long thumb ramp there for a lot of pressure down or forward with that blade. Again, Kiridashi style, but they mentioned in the description chisel ground. However, the Kiridashis are chisel ground traditionally. This one is not. Notice you've got your grind on both sides. We have takedown screws here that are countersunk. They don't get in your way, no hot spots. And looks like that can be taken apart with a T8 Torx. They're on both sides. So should you choose to remove the handle material, you could. Have an interesting base here. I don't know if it's a separate material or not, or they've just bonded it, but you have a dark gray or black at the base of the tan canvas micarta. The ring is comfortable. It's not overly chamfered along the edge, but it's not sharp. It's a good size ring. Typically, you're going to hold it up to the first knuckle there in this position. You know, if you went in all the way like that, tends to sort of get caught on your finger too much. If you're flipping, doing this type of motion, then you want a pretty ample size ring. But again, you want to do that on the first knuckle. But we won't get into technique. Let's take a look at it. Get a little closer here. Alongside another fixed blade you may be familiar with. This is the Spyderco Street Beat by Fred Perrin. Just about the same length. 3.5 inch blade here. And what do we say, 2.5 inch blade there, so shorter blade, shorter cutting edge. Entirely different style of blade here, being a Bowie design with a molded FRN style handle. Comfortable little knife in its own right. One thing we didn't do, take a quick look at the sheath here for the poker. It's got enough grommets in there to lash it, to change the position of the strap. The strap can go on your belt this way, so you have a horizontal carry. But if you release it, you can loop it up over the belt and snap it. I've tried it that way. It's not too bad. You have to just loosen this enough to, I'm not going to do it right now, but if you just back off on that Phillips screw right there, you can swing the strap and you can tuck it down inside the waistband, loop it up over and snap it over your belt. But the way they got it set up out of the box is for the horizontal carry, either direction. You can even carry it around towards the front. It tucks away quite nicely, but at the same time, if you were to remove the strap completely, it's a very decent front pocket carry. You have enough here. I can't really say you could thumb it off. Sorry about that. But you might be able to modify the sheath somewhat with a heat gun to make it so it thumbs off. Right now it's pretty tight. And with that acid rain finish, you've got a little bit of a rough surface against the Kydex. Here's my lately, or of late, daily carry, the Spyderco Amalgam. You can see that's monstrously larger than this little tops poker. Even in the closed position, it's pretty large. If we take a look at a Benchmade Freak, you can see that that is also larger in the open position. Of course, the advantage of folding knives is that they fold, right? So when you have a fixed blade knife that you'd like to carry with you in the front pocket, it's nice that it's small. Otherwise, you carry it on your belt and tend to advertise it a little bit too much. This guy, though, nice multi-purpose knife, tucks away nicely in a pocket or on the belt, under a shirt, what have you. A good utility knife, certainly, while at the same time, a lot of martial blade and defensive capabilities. So I hope you enjoyed that review of the Tops poker. Give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. We're going to be mixing it up lately and doing a little of this and a little of that, along with new stuff as it comes in. So stay with us. This Old Sword, signing out.